MACV-SOG conducted covert cross-border operations during the Vietnam conflict from 1964 to 1972. Prior to that period, U.S. cross-border operations during the Vietnam conflict were conducted largely by the Central Intelligence Agency and its South Vietnamese counterpart. However, President John F. Kennedy, frustrated and dissatisfied with the agency's lackluster performance, ordered the mission to be reallocated and executed by the Pentagon, and specifically U.S. Army Special Forces. SOG was formed as a U.S. Joint Service and U.S. South Vietnamese Coalition covert operation. SOG operations were conducted or supported by U.S. servicemen of all four military services and local national counterparts. But the largest contingent of U.S. military personnel by far were drawn from Special Operations Forces, or SOF, especially Army Special Forces, SF, and the indigenous commandos that were trained and mostly led by SOG Special Forces personnel. During its existence, SOG was the largest and most complex covert operation initiated by the United States since the days of the OSS. At its organizational peak, SOG's unconventional warfare forces were the size of an Army division and combined joint and multinational forces, including operational control/tactical control of direct support attachments/forces and elements allocated by South Vietnam. Many of these personnel operated from three forward operating bases, or FOBs: Command and Control North, Command and Control Central, and Command and Control South in the late 1960s through the early 1970s. SOG launched its operations from South Vietnam and other friendly countries in the region into North Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. The occasional SOG Special Reconnaissance operations conducted within South Vietnam were often considered training missions until cross-border operations ceased in 1971. SOG's four major mission areas included inserting and running covert agent teams, conducting psychological warfare, conducting covert maritime operations, and executing special reconnaissance and associated ground combat exploitation force operations against the North Vietnamese Army operating along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And from 1966 until its deactivation, SOG also ran the Joint Personnel and Recovery Center, responsible for recovering downed airmen and Allied prisoners from enemy territory.